Everybody. Hey, what's going on out there? This is Brett, your favorite YouTuber on his other channel. And yeah, I just want to talk about where I've been and what I've done and how that might help you in your life. So many things I've learned about a really, really intense healing year, 2024. Just seriously intense. To the edge, baby. To the edge. Get a couple of drinks of this. We'll let at least one person join me on this other channel. I know that it's going to take a little time to get y'all to move on over for these, less popular, the less popular videos where you'll still learn a lot about stuff. And see, for the other channel, I need to get it going here and really start getting my channel popular again. And in order to do that in today's age, it's going to take some effort. And I can't just whoop up a video without doing a search for the title, figuring out what I'm going to do in the video to have people stay with the video for a lot longer, the longer the better, to be able to have all the keywords in the video, so many different things that are required to compete in today's YouTube world. But so let's see. I really need to watch the acidity forming foods. Okay, that's one thing that I've learned. I need to just keep working on eating more and more fruits and vegetables and less grains, less beans, less nuts, less seeds, and less food overall. That's where I'm at. Now, bear in mind, that's where I'm at, and probably less meat too. I haven't eaten any meat at all for, I don't know, maybe a week now. But I'm continuing to just cleanse this body. I had a rash on my belly. It just came out, and then it healed and went away. And yeah, I had a mouth thing. I had a root stuck in my, right there, that tooth that broke off. The root was still in there, and I had to get it operated on and pulled. And in order to do that, they had to grind the bone back to get a hold of it and pull it out. And it had some infection in there, and that's had to gone away. And then there was some bone spurs that had to emerge out of there. Many of you understand, and you've experienced that when you had a tooth pulled, there were bone spurs that had to come out. And so now that's finally healing. Today, I went and danced at the dance in Asheville, and I did really well, even though I'm not even close to being fully, like I'm still radically healing, right? And I'm dancing with all these 20 to 40-year-olds, and I outdanced them. I'm not kidding you. I outdanced like 80 young people today. And I still was ready for more. After the music peaked, I was like, bring it on. Bring it on, baby. So, hey, there's a viewer. I know more people will see this later, so I'll just keep going. But yeah, I've gotten through a lot of this pain from this right arm, in several years past, last couple, 2, 3, 4 years. I got through most of it with this left arm. And now the last couple of years, this arm. This year in the spring was bad. But yeah, it's doing a lot better now. And this year was my Saturn return year, where Saturn, every 29 years, it comes back to where it originally was. So this is my second Saturn return year. It comes the first time when you're 29, roughly, and then it comes again when you're 59. And so I've got about 2 more months of that to deal with. If you don't understand astrology, I mean, it makes it a lot easier when you do, because it gives you perspective on why people are going through the phases that they go through in their lives. When you see a person go through a time in their life where they just change, it's because largely, like at least partially, because they're going through a lot of crazy astrological oppositions, squares, conjunctions, etc., etc. These things create challenges at that time in your life, and they can last for years because the outer planets are very, very slow. Okay, so yeah. Also, on that note, our world can go through periods of like change for years that take years because of these astrological alignments. And right now, Pluto just went into Aquarius and it's staying there now. It's taken over a year for it to stay in Aquarius because it goes into retrograde and it goes back and forth and back and forth. And when it finally stays in a new sign, it creates change in regards to the aspects of that sign. And Aquarius is it bucks the system. It's against authority. it's it's a very heady, logical, and thinking sign. And so you're going to see over the next 19 years Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto, the sign of death and rebirth, the sign of change, the sign of upheaval, in Aquarius, the sign of rebellion. Okay, put those together for the next 19 years. Put those together with the internet revealing all kinds of things to people everywhere. Hold on to your horses, my friends. Hold on for the next 19 years. And go within, okay? Let the hell happen out there. Spend a lot more time in your little room, your own little healing space, like I do. I love my little room. Make it as comfortable, make it as beautiful. Get yourself some colored lights and some essential oils, whatever gives you joy, whatever helps you to connect with that for which you believe in. Okay? And go there and spend a lot of time. So, I've created this inversion board that I can lay on, and I've got a really good sticky yoga mat, right? That I created from painting several layers of pure latex on an old yoga mat. And you let that dry, and pure latex is so sticky. And you lay on it, and you do get a degree of stick on your tailbone and on your shoulder blades, but it's just not quite enough. So for the last couple of days, I've been messing around with figuring out how to secure my ankles to the end of the board with a yoga strap. Or today I took some shoes, and I'll show you those shoes. I put eye bolts in the heels. You'll find this interesting. So I put these shoes on, right? You can't walk in them because I've got an eye bolt screwed into the heel. But I've created these. I put two more eye bolts, but bolts. These are eye screws, and then eye bolts into the end of the inversion, not inversion, but like inversion, but like slant board, the slant board, right? And then I created a rope that goes through the eye bolts of the slant board, and then I put two dog clips. You know the dog clips, like you use to walk your dog. It's got a little thing, and you hook it on. Okay, I took a piece of rope about 2.5 feet long, 3 feet long, and put two of those dog leash clips on the ends of that, and then I clip that into there, and I put the shoes on. And then that holds me from sliding down the slant board, in addition to the sticky yoga mat. And for a couple of nights now, especially last night, I spent about an hour laying on that thing and just massaging and stretching and massaging and stretching. And it is so good. It is so good because, see, you don't have to work near as hard. And the reason that this is so much better than those inversion table things that you can buy on Amazon is because of the sticky yoga mat. See, the sticky yoga mat gives you the ability to stick your tailbone and to stick your shoulder blades and to stick your head on the back of the board so much better than that vinyl that they use on those inversion tables that flip. And see, you don't want to flip that much or that much. You want to flip be on about that much angle so that you can spend a lot of time laying there. Time is what heals the body. And if you're on too much of an angle, it's just too extreme, especially when you're just beginning. Now, I might get up to like that. I might get up to that or something, But see, the longer you're laying there, the more it's creating a traction. Okay. So the things that I teach on my videos, you're not going to find them other places. I'm a pure teacher healer, massage therapist, diet person. And that means that I don't have these other money-driven agendas. Okay? So whenever you start mixing adding all of these money-driven agendas to any kind of a natural health regiment, that's the word, then it messes it all up. But if you can just keep your life simple, then you don't have to start getting greedy and start doing stupid things to try and get more money because you're insecure, etc., etc. You just rely on God. And you keep everything pure. And see, when you do things logically, when you do your healing logically, you're cooking your own food and you're thinking about the way the food needs to be utilized and cooked and this and that, and what's the best way to not abuse the resources, then everything gets purer and purer and purer. And you realize that you don't need all of the stuff. And one of the things that was so huge for me this year is the hurricane happening. And I want to talk a little bit about what I did the other day with going back to that place that I lived in, the trailer that I lived in. But in general, it was just so huge for my spiritual health to have gone through that hurricane. And then also all of this huge astrological stuff that I'm going through right now, long-term astrological stuff, is forcing me to be so trusting of that for which is guiding me, and knowing that that thing, yeah, that source is guiding me, just knowing without any doubt. And it's not that I don't still have some times where I'm doubtful. It's that I just have a lot stronger spirituality now. And I just keep reminding me, I just keep reminding myself to be patient and to trust. And whenever, like almost every night, I'll take one tarot card, maybe two, to get guidance, and my little fortune papers, wisdom papers. And I listen to the songs at the grocery store. Today I got some good songs and lately I've been getting some good songs in regards to that I'm going to have some good romantic relationships soon. Not sexual, romantic. I mean, that's not really where I'm at. But creation is telling me that that's where I'm going. So I'm like, well, okay, I guess. You have to trust in it. It knows. You don't. It knows what's going on out there. It knows what's going on out there. It knows where you're at, and it knows where you're going and where they're going, and when you're going to connect with someone. It knows everything. You don't know much other than what's going on in your little thing. And so, like, it's so humbling. It's so humbling to think about that, because it's 100% true. And recently I had to blow off this millionaire friend of mine, Julie, because she's so disconnected from reality and from the divine. And she says she's Christian, but she doesn't act that way at least half the time. And so I just had to blow that off. And until she gets real, yeah, I'm not doing it. I don't want to talk to her anymore. It's just dragging me down. She's dragging me down. Okay. I found out that she's a Coca-Cola heiress. She wouldn't tell me. She wouldn't tell me where she got all the money. She just told me that she was a millionaire many times over. She was very, very rich, right? And we get talking about her family. And she tells me her father's first name, and then I was like, I coaxed her his a birth date out of her, right? And then I was able to look that right up on Find a Grave. Have you ever seen findagrave.com? You can look up all your ancestors. And so, anyways, so I found her ancestors, and I found out online what they did for a living. They were right ground floor Coca-Cola bottling company. They bought a franchise, a Coca-Cola bottling company franchise in 1902, right? Talking about one of the absolute most toxic businesses of all time for health. One of the absolute most toxic, talking about disconnected from God and Jesus. I mean, it doesn't get any more like other than illegal businesses. And it actually turned out to be illegal. And they had to take the coca leaves out. So for it, they didn't completely remove all of the coca leaves until 1929. I didn't read the whole article, but some newspaper in Atlanta published that it was too addictive. It was wrong. It was too addictive. This was in the early 1900s, and that Coca-Cola was a drug. It had cocaine in it. And so, like, we're talking about these people that, they call themselves Christians. They're going to church. They're trying to make a lot of money on an addictive substance. And so they gradually reduced the cocaine leaves in the formula and increased the sugar and caffeine to compensate so that people would be able to make the transition. They got addicted. Her great grandfather was probably a coke addict, you know? Have you ever watched a documentary on people that down in Colombia or wherever that they become coke addicts because that's what they do. They harvest the coca leaves, etc. But anyways, yeah, I had to disconnect from her. I couldn't do it anymore. I mean, she's not a bad person, but sometimes she is. Anyways, so yeah, I've been just adding the good and removing the bad, in with the good and out with the bad for so damn long now. And I've been swearing a lot less. Have you guys noticed how I'm swearing less now? It's a good thing. Yeah. I just keep moving towards the center. And that includes with my diet, less salt. Oh, check it out. Today at the health food store, I found a sprouted gluten-free bread that has no added oils in it. The company only has one particular model, is that the word? Type, that has no oil in it. The other has like the typical oil that you put in bread. People like it moister, for instance, and so they use this high oleic safflower oil, one of those, and I do not consume any of that. The only oils I consume are unrefined, olive and coconut. You can also find sesame here and there. I don't do well on that one, and I only consume a minimal amount of mostly olive oil now. But I'll show you this bread, and you probably can't get it, but it's a good thing that it's at least there's something of, oh, and it's sourdough, of course. It has to be naturally risen. Now I've eaten two pieces of this, and so you can see that it's not a big loaf of bread. But check it out. Oil-free. And there's one more bonus. I quit eating rice this year. I think I've ate it once in the last 6 months or something. That was one of my big things. This does not have rice flour in it. The ingredients are millet flour as the first ingredients. That is awesome. Millet, because that's the only alkalizing grain. Sorghum flour. Awesome. Quinoa flour. Awesome. Teff flour. This has teff flour in it, the smallest grain in the world. Have you guys ever eaten teff? It's from Ethiopia, I think. Ethiopia. buckwheat flour, psyllium seed husk flour. I'm okay with that. Raisin juice concentrate. Now that may help it to ferment, the sourdough ferment. It doesn't taste sweet. It doesn't taste sweet. It's got flaxseed meal, sea salt, citrus fiber. Now these are just to kind of give it some fluff, I guess, and whole quinoa. So I'm not against any of those ingredients. And one of those is pretty expensive, but bear in mind, with all of those ingredients, those are expensive ingredients, and it's not a and it has to be, risen, you know. So it's like $8-9 for one of those. I know it's expensive, but I'm just gonna try and eat one slice of that with each meal. And as I stated before, I'm gonna try and not consume as much acid forming foods now. Okay, I'm really getting this down. I'm really refining this diet, and I'm not consuming as much food. You see, the more you can increase the quality of the bacteria in your digestive system, and the better you can get your acid alkaline balance, and the more nutrients that you can get, the better nutrient balance that you can get by getting more vitamins and minerals and less carbs. So you reduce the carbs and you get the protein perfect. And then you get that fat burned down by consuming less salt. Okay, can you see where this is going? Can you visualize? Have you studied these things? What I'm telling you is where it's at for getting the bod that you want. Okay. This is it. I'm getting there. So, I want to thank you so much for joining me. This was not meant to be a long video. I'll share it on the main channel so that more people will get to see it. I hope that you are well. And I hope that you're ready for a fantastic 2025. One person is watching. It's probably Julie. You know, Julie, I still care about you. And Shell, of course. And a lot of people that I'm not really talking to right now. But, sometimes people can come back into your space and be okay. Remember that, just because you've gone separate ways with somebody for whatever reason doesn't mean that they can't come back into your life. They can. But I'm not going back into the crap thinking, I may dip into there a little bit here and there. And I may enjoy watching some Jesse Wells videos because I love it that he's making the world change with blatant, just like, what's the word? In your face music. And I gotta tell you, like, I've been getting all of these video ideas. We're gonna do some hidden camera video videos this year. And I got a feeling that I'm going to go a little bit crazy on this. But one of the ideas is that I'm going to do some busking. And I've got a guitar. I built the guitar. And I haven't played it, but that's okay. I still know some chords. And I'm just going to wing it. And when people walk by, I'm going to sing lyrics that wake them up to eating right. Like, for instance, if you eat more vegetables, so I'm playing the guitar, right? And I've got the hidden camera person 30, 40 feet away, right? And they're filming the faces of these people as they're walking by. this obese, imagine this obese couple walking by me, right? Each of them weighs 300 pounds. And I'll sing something about weight loss. Like, I'll sing, if you eat more vegetables, then you're gonna lose weight. You'll lose all that fat. So I'll have it all planned out, and it's going to be really fun. And imagine answering the phone, like, so I have somebody call me on the phone, like I'm standing near some people that they don't look very healthy, they're overweight or something like that, and I have somebody call me on the phone, and I put it on speaker phone, right? And they say, Brett, you wouldn't believe all the fat people I saw today. And I'd be like, well, if they'd eat if they eat more fruits and vegetables, I'm sure they'd lose all that weight, and factoids. You got to come up with all of these factoids. All I have to do is go on the internet and get all these facts about weight loss. And that's what everyone wants to do, right? It's all a bunch of BS, because when it comes down to it, you need to eat naturally. People need to eat naturally. And if people will just start doing that, they'll naturally lose weight. Okay? And so that's part of the messages that I'll have for people. But it's kind of hard for me because I always want to add comedy to it. And most people don't think these things are funny. But for me, I can make damn near anything funny. But in any case, I hope that you guys are doing well, and I hope that you have a very nice holiday, New Year's. And just keep your heads up. Once again, realize that our world is going to go through crazy changes. If you're wondering why Donald Trump is going to be the president of the biggest, most powerful nation in the world, well, it just needs to be. It needs to be because we need some crazy changes. The government needs to lose its power. The power needs to come back to the people. One thing about the Democrats is that they want to get more power so that they can have more programs. And that's not always the best thing, because sometimes people need to just get going, and take charge of their own lives and stop being dependent upon the government for things, get some responsibility. And so maybe that's one of the reasons. But just trust. There's lots of negative reasons, right? We're going to see Trump's going to do all kinds of crap, just like he did the last 4 years. And he's going to get called out on it. And he's going to make people on the right think, hey, maybe this guy really is a nutcase. Maybe he really is an egotistical, what? Because he is. So, if you want the truths to rise to the surface, things have to be exposed. Okay? And somebody with a big mouth like that, he's going to do that. He's going to expose a lot of truths about a lot of people that are just like him. It's perfect. It's perfect. It makes people think, and it makes people admit things. That's what we're trying to do with the diet thing, When people are going to hear me saying things out loud, and it might be directly to them, and it might be indirectly to them. And I might go do some health missionary work where I go door to door, and I ask people, do you have any pain? Do you have any neck pain? Do you have any knee pain? Do you have any foot pain, et cetera, et cetera? If you're willing to do a video, I'll come in and show you how to get rid of it, like the legitimate way, not chiropractors or physical therapists. These people, they teach wimpy things, wimpy things that don't get the job done. And it may be fine for old and frail people, but they have this agenda like doctors do. They want to just keep making money. And the more visits you get, the more they can rack that up on HCFA 1500 forms and send it into the insurance company. That's what they want. They want you to come in for a number of visits. We've got you scheduled for 15 visits over the next 3 months to be able to do this day. And you do these little exercises, and we'll train you for this period of time. And then they look it up in the book, and it's got a code that they can put on that form, and they get a certain maximum. They'll get the maximum. They look at how much they can get for that procedure, for that exercise, etc. And then they charge the insurance company the maximum amount for that procedure that they can get. And this is what their agenda is. And they don't want to do anything that's potentially the person can potentially get more injured, because that means lawsuit. Okay. So in any case, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I know I said that before. But just stay tuned and keep watching Brett get healthier and healthier and healthier. And if you go over to Bob and Brad's, the physical therapist, the most popular, famous physical therapists on the internet, right? Have you guys heard of these guys? Most of you have, right? Bob and Brad, they've got a jingle. The most famous physical therapists on the internet, right? And Bob is sick with some disease, and he doesn't appear in any of the videos anymore, okay? So you're going to see, as doctors get older, they all get sick and fat and diseased and die. But you're going to see, as Brett gets older, he does the opposite. I go through my cycles and I go through my phases, and sometimes I look like hell, and sometimes I feel like I'm going to die. But I think I've gotten through most of the muck, I'm not saying that I'm even close to being there yet, but I believe I'm regenerating this body. I just wish to hell that I could get my hair blonde again, and I refuse to dye it, even if it's a natural dye. I'm not going to do it. I don't need any of that crap. No tattoos, no makeup. The only way that I'm ever going to do anything to alter my look is if I'm doing a fun video and I want to put on one of my wigs or one of my masks or something funny, doctor's lab coat, something like that. That's it. There's so much to get engaged with in this world that you don't need all of that crap. Be natural. Get natural. Start to live more naturally. You know what I'm talking about? Anyways. Wow, I look good, huh? Look at my teeth. They look so good. 3 viewers. Man, maybe I should stay for a while. Nah. Thanks for joining me, everybody.